Hello, hello, hello. Craig Forstall coming to you with a 2019 NFL Draft Player Profile. Tyree Jackson, the Buffalo quarterback's a redshirt junior who graduated early, completing all his requirements, which allowed him to swallow up one of those final spots on the Senior Bowl roster in Mobile, Alabama. Coming to Buffalo, he originally is from Michigan, and at 21 years old, the reigning MAC Offensive Player of the Year is going to have a lot of teams oozing over the fact that at 6'7", 245 pounds, he has a ton of room to grow. So what does that mean for his outlook? It means that every year that he was in college, you can look at his statistical output and you can see that the touchdowns grew, and you can see that he made very good decisions with the football, not turning it over a whole heck of a lot. Now, you look at the career numbers, just shy of 7,000 career yards, 49 career touchdowns, 24 interceptions. Like I said, a 2-for-1 career interception to touchdown ratio. And then if you go to the 2017 season, you'll see that 12-3 touchdown interception ratio, which is going to give you a positive outcome no matter what level of football you're playing. And I don't think there's a single coach or football mind that'll tell you they do not want that. Going down, you can see the 2018, his only full campaign. He had 28 six-pointers that he tossed around on the field for the Buffalo Bulls. There were 12 interceptions, but you can look at the attempts. With over 400 attempts, I don't think that anyone's going to be too concerned about his decision-making abilities right there. Now, you do look at the completion percentages. You see for the career 55-8. There was only 1 year where he was at that number of 60, which was on a smaller sampling size. Is there reason to be concerned? Possibly. I'll talk about why I think some of the percentage numbers are low a little bit later in this video. But for the most part, I think that it could be attributed to a wide variety of things. But I think what really makes you overlook that is the next slide. When you start looking at the rushing output, over 750 yards on the career, 16 career touchdowns. So he's definitely a big body that's going to be putting up 6 points for you, whether it's through the air or on the ground. So definitely that versatility is going to give him a little bit more leeway when it comes to some of those things, such as the completion percentage, as long as the touchdowns and the other statistical output is there and the offense isn't stagnant. So now we can see from the offensive position as a quarterback, Tyree Jackson is 6'7", 245, crazy athletic, huge arm, good decision maker. So what does that mean? What it means is we have to go to the one-eyed monster. We have to see what the game film says. There's a handful of games I took a look at. I took a look at the 2017 FAU film. He only hung around for about a half because of injury. And then I finished it out with 4 other games from the 2018 slate: Temple, Rutgers, Northern Illinois, Troy. I thought that these were the best of the teams that were on his schedule. I thought they offered a very good sampling of high-end college players, enough professional talent to really give me a good gauge as to what type of quarterback I was getting, decision-makings, abilities, different things along those lines. So what do I love after all of it? What I love is that his huge arm is even bigger than huge, and there's only one way that it can be described, and that is grande arm. He is a grande arm quarterback. He can run, and then I mentioned that he has a grande arm. Taking a look on the film, it's so easy to get caught up in the big ball that he throws, attacking vertically, really knows how to push the ball downfield, struggles with some of the intermediate throws because of some of the footwork, which we'll address in the next slide. Does have a strong college sampling of 32 career games, 31 starts. I did mention some of the injury concerns. He did get better statistically every season. You do like to see that growth from the quarterback, especially at such a young age at 21, and also the more than ideal size is something that you can't teach. You can't teach someone to be 6'7" and have a rocket arm. But the good thing is, you did see the improved pocket awareness and pocket presence throughout his career. Areas of concern, I've mentioned the passing footwork. Because of the footwork, it led to the inconsistencies. When the body and the feet and the arm, the follow-through, when everything's not in sync, everything's not aligned, it's going to lead to some poor mechanics. The poor mechanics can lead to the inaccuracies, which then cause a poor completion percentage. I think once the passing footwork, everything gets in line, I think everything will start to come together. I think that passing percentage will come up, so I don't really think it's too much of a red flag. The injury concerns, obviously, that's where you start to worry a little bit more. 2016, 2017 both caused him to miss multiple games. Big body, big injuries, carrying some miles on him from an injury standpoint. How's he going to be able to hold up in the NFL? What precautions do we need to see? So his medical is going to be big for him this offseason. And then again, we've mentioned it, the completion percentage of 55.8. You want to see it higher. Again, Buffalo, the MAC, no dome stadiums, rough weather, especially when you start getting into like November. So that could contribute to the poor numbers. Again, Buffalo wasn't always the most of competitive teams. With him, they did improve every year. As he got better, the team got better, which speaks to him. However, they were not always the most competitive brand out on the field. So those are the areas that I think most teams are going to question him on. I think that's what he needs to really focus on as we get ready for that draft weekend in April. The final verdict. There's a little bit of a bias towards big quarterbacks right now. You look at Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, and Mike Glennon, three recent names of varying levels of success. Paxton Lynch, I think, is a pick that Denver wishes that they had back right now. Osweiler, I think, is a contract Houston wishes they had back right now. And Mike Glennon is a contract I think Chicago wishes they had back right now. So three big quarterbacks left three different teams with three different forms of big regret. And now is Tyree Jackson going to be the next big regret? I don't think he is. I think he breaks all the big quarterback negatives, like Pat Mahomes broke all the college air raid system negatives. I know it's a big claim. I know it's a lot of big words, but it's what I truly believe. Tyree Jackson has the potential to blow up and fly up draft boards. Josh Allen came from a small school last year. Tyree Jackson, a small school this year. Unbelievable athletic talent, unbelievable arm strength, the size. It's just like going to the create a player screen in Madden and drawing up your quarterback and saying, let's do this. Some team's going to fall in love with Tyree Jackson, develop a crush on him, because, again, when you have a rocket launcher and a grande arm with that statue size and the athleticism, a team will jump at that. He's an NFL starter. I don't know Super Bowls, Pro Bowls. I don't know all of that stuff, but I know that he's an NFL starter. He is one of my favorite quarterbacks in this draft. In fact, he is my favorite quarterback in this draft because he's oozing with upside. There are three quarterback-needed teams that I think could definitely use Tyree Jackson immediately, and it's all because of their solid quarterback coaching or quarterback coaching that could be in place in the very near future. These possible destinations are the Washington Redskins with Kevin O'Connell as their quarterback coach, former quarterback, bounced around in the league for a little bit. Zach Taylor, he's expected to be announced as the Cincinnati Bengals head coach once the Rams season completes. And then Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell is the proven quarterback guy in the league. His reputation working with Stafford, working with Manning, it's something that teams are going to talk to him because of that. He's expected to be announced onto Brian Flores' staff once the Patriots season is over. Zach Taylor is riding the quarterback wave of McVay. Jim Caldwell has his own wave working with Stafford and Peyton Manning. I think if you pair Tyree Jackson with solid quarterback coaching, you get him on board in a room, in an organization that believes in him, whether he's the guy from day one or it's a prolonged plan, he's the quarterback in succession, whatever it is. I think that this is definitely the type of guy that can bring a team success. Now, where do you get Tyree Jackson? Where do you draft him? I think as early as 50 is acceptable. If you're a quarterback needy team and you think this is your guy, you're in love with the upside, you're in love with the potential, 50 to 55, mid to late round two. If a team doesn't fall in love with him the way that I have, you could be looking at an early round 4 guy not making it past 115 overall. But when it's all said and done, I think mid to late round 3 is where he's going to hear his name called, somewhere in that 90 overall range. Best case scenario, you're looking at Nick Foles. You're looking at a guy that wins big games, that doesn't shy away from the bright lights, and definitely has the respect of his teammates, and definitely a guy that the team rallies around and enjoys playing with and for. Worst case scenario, I went back and forth on this one. Brock Osweiler, you get a guy that holds a clipboard but can come in and throw relief. He's not getting you through 16 games, but if you need him as a 2 to 3 game Band-Aid, he can definitely handle that workload for 2-3 weeks, and he can get you through until the number one quarterback's ready to come back in. So best case scenario, you get Nick Foles. Worst case scenario, you get a decent NFL backup quarterback. Now I know at 50 overall, you don't want a decent backup NFL quarterback, but Brock Osweiler did go, I believe, 44 overall. So if we're going on the worst case scenario, we're playing it with the player comparisons and all of that, I felt like it worked. Nick Foles also was in the second round, but I was going off of the size. I was going off of a whole bunch of different things. So those are the two quarterbacks that I see with Tyree Jackson. Again, this is my favorite quarterback in this year's 2019 NFL Draft. Stay tuned for a couple more player profiles that I'll have coming up in the next couple of days. Go ahead, drop me your comments. Leave me your suggestions. Anything else that you think, go ahead and let me know. I appreciate you tuning in. And then for anything else that you want to know about information used on anything that you saw right here, you can go ahead, take a quick look right there. And like I said, Craig Forstall checking in. Thank you for spending a couple minutes with me going over Tyree Jackson, quarterback from Buffalo.